There are 4 species counted among the war chamber of the Greater Galactic Council. The massive Jozer, titan-like in size and strength, each individual capable of carrying a tank's worth of weaponry and armor into battle alone. The predatory Ligar, apex warriors and masters of the hunt, could track a scent for miles and lunge at their prey with brutal fury and savage efficiency. The scholarly Relsaka, religious engineers, developed weapons of such potency that the greatest of their creations could shatter stars themselves had they not been bound by their faith. And then there are humans, who are none of those things. They are not the strongest, nor the quickest, nor the smartest, nor the toughest, nor the most numerically vast. A single Jozer could comfortably take on a platoon of Terran Union soldiers, a company capable of fighting a Terran tank brigade to a standstill. Ligar warpacks hunted freely on isolated human outposts for fun during their war with humanity, stalking from the shadows and lunging at them with their rending claws. And while they never fought the Relsaka, reports from observers invited by the Relsaka themselves claimed to have witnessed an arsenal that made nuclear weapons, once so feared by the governments of old Earth, look like hand grenades. So why does humanity stand among these martial superpowers of the galaxy? Many drunken, nationalistic ramblers and confused casual observers have asked the same. It is for one simple reason: humans are the only species who can fight the monsters the other 3 cannot. When the black fleets of the Zerg came screaming out of the sunless void, they brought primordial horrors, manifestations of a terrifying unreality and monuments of a faith so eldritch it could only be described as madness. These monsters sent psychic shockwaves, crippling the minds of those who felt it with the crushing realization of existential dread. The pride all species held in their ability to have conquered their homeworlds and expanded across the stars was brought down with the terrifying realization of how insignificant they were cosmologically. And where these god avatars walked, hordes of twisted wretches, demonic abominations, and feral fanatics followed. The Jozer were crushed like ants, their large bodies used as empty husks for the most degenerate of Zerg bio-creations that stalked battlefields like distant, shambling statues forced into a torturous unlife. Ligar hid in holes which soon became their graves, their hunting prowess meaning nothing against a foe that hunted them back with such ruthless efficiency that just the sight of one could stun a whole warpack as they remembered a time when their presentient ancestors were still hunted by other predators. The Zerg subverted the Relsaka's weapons by attacking their controllers directly, crippling them with infectious nightmares of powerlessness and the realization that their gods had no power to protect them before harvesting their brains and knowledge for ever more sinister inventions. The council was in disarray, the many hundreds of species and thousands of planets were thrown into chaos at the onset of a foe who fed off the heights of their pride, only to cast them down into the deepest pits of despair. No one in their entire history of sapient civilization had ever conceived of such a threat, one that showed how futile their struggles were and how insignificant their creations would be. All except for one. When humans first breached the barrier of FTL, they were seen as the humblest of all races. By comparison to the other species, their ships and cities lacked the huge monuments common across other planets. Boasting and bragging were seen as rude in their curious culture, and despite making it past the great filter, they kept showing themselves as the underdogs in their stories. Many governments thought it to be some kind of defeatist self-propaganda of a pacifist race, a notion only dispelled after the violence of human history was known and the Terran Union fought the Ligar to a standstill in a war over colonization rights. However much respect they gained though, it was never enough to outweigh the conception that they were meek, cowardly creatures, a young race who didn't believe in its own abilities enough to project them. This lack of hubris, as the humans saw it, did not come from a place of weakness, but from a place of understanding. An understanding that as far as they had come, they still had much to learn, and that for as much as they had to learn, the galaxy they lived in was barely a speck on the scale of the universe. Whereas the media of the other races showed them standing tall, fearless and triumphant over adversity and hardship, human media showed humans who failed to do so, overcome by a villain or greater force. Even in the situations where humans won, their path was seldom easy or smooth. To them, a 95% chance of failure wasn't certain doom, but a 5% chance of success. Uniquely among human media as well, they had developed the concept of existential horror, a concept utterly alien to the other races of the Council. They even had a word for it that could never be properly translated, Lovecraftian. What could exist that could make existence itself seem meaningless? The Zerg proved they could. Their avatars brought on a fear so ancient, so primal that all could feel the times their ancestors were still afraid of thunder and the dark beyond meager campfires. The Jozer, the Ligar, the Relsaka, they were all new to this feeling of fear embedded in the very DNA of life itself. But humans weren't. Across 1,000 worlds and for nearly 27 long, bloody years, the sons and daughters of Earth fought hopeless battles and desperate last stands. Often, they were the last line of defense or sacrificial rear guard, not out of choice, but because all other forces had fled the battle. Great armies were raised from humanity's many planets, colonies, and nations, her people throwing themselves into the gullets of thirsting monsters and the maws of laughing gods, all to buy time, to hold the line. The 93rd Kingsguard Infantry held a thin red line of makeshift defenses on the Jozer world of Aksharat, refusing retreat even as they were overrun by the hordes of Zerg who tore into them. Ravalap, an invaluable industrial world, held for 3 years against a siege due to the heroic defense of the 133rd Vieja Tertia Infantry and 22nd Wojciech armored, using half-finished tanks by the end of the siege as they were overrun. The Ligar forever remembered the 52nd Zulu Legion when they came to the aid of their desperate homeworld. It was the 86th Yular Mera and 106th Lucky Drongos who were first into the breach during the failed counterattack on the Zerg fortress on the world of Ulipiat. The 71st Shujin, 77th Shesavoy, 101st Screaming Eagles, and 166th Heihengfu all fought, bled, and died in the apocalyptic battle of the Relsaka Archive world of Iliad 6. And when the 201st Aguilas Star Fighter Corps discovered a Zerg Void Forge, they rammed their fighters straight into it once their ammo ran dry, desperately preventing the creation of another Cthulhu-like god avatar. As each man and woman died, they did so with fury and vengeance unseen by the wider galaxy on their lips, their souls burning like a beacon against the endless darkness. Humanity, bleeding and battered as it was, led the armada that crushed the last bastion of the Zerg, Zerg Prime. At the helm was the battleship Solar, the greatest naval vessel ever built. 5 miles long with Jozer armor, Ligar sensor arrays, and Relsaka guns, battleship Solar led a combined force of over 24 species to the very gates of hell itself where the Zerg kept their most terrible god avatars. With each pass of their ethereal weapons, ships weren't just destroyed but erased from reality itself. Some fled, others retreated to maximum weapon range, only the ships of the Terran Navy dared to get close, to stare the abyss in the eye and dare it to blink. And as they detonated a human Relsaka hybrid bomb above the Zerg's homeworld, the abyss blinked. Humanity is not the strongest, nor the quickest, nor the smartest, nor the toughest, nor the most numerically vast. But they don't have to be. They never saw themselves based on what they did, but what they could do. Where everyone else had seen near certain defeat and damnation, humans bet everything on that tiniest of chances for victory, gambling against hope and forgotten gods on an underdog victory. It had been humans, the cowards, who sacrificed untold millions on planets not their own. It had been humans, the unassuming, who led the great galactic armada to Zerg Prime. It had been humans, the prideless, who continue to hunt the remaining god avatars and monsters left over from the Zerg to this day. It had been humans, the humble, who had cancelled the apocalypse. It is humans, the fearless, who stand as the galaxy's monster hunters. When some new horror or monster rises out of the abyss of space or an old one dares to reveal its hated head, it is humanity to whom the Jozer, the Ligar, and the Relsaka turn. Humanity's triumph over the Zerg was not the end but the beginning of a new era. The galaxy remained a dangerous place, filled with remnants of the Zerg and other lurking horrors. Human forces, now seasoned veterans of the most nightmarish war imaginable, became the backbone of the Council's response to these threats. Elite units like the 93rd Kingsguard Infantry and the 133rd Vieja Tertia Infantry were often dispatched to the most dangerous front lines, their bravery and tenacity becoming legendary among the stars. The technological and strategic innovations developed during the war continued to evolve. Human engineers, working alongside Relsaka scholars, developed new weapons and defenses to counter the lingering Zerg menace. Jozer's strength was harnessed in constructing massive fortresses on key worlds, while Ligar hunting tactics were integrated into human tactical training. The Jozer, with their immense strength and durability, became invaluable partners in heavy combat operations. Diplomatically, humanity's role in the galaxy transformed. They were no longer seen as the humble newcomers but as the steadfast guardians of peace and stability. The Terran Union's diplomatic efforts ensured that the alliances forged in war were strengthened in peace. Trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and mutual defense pacts solidified the bonds between species, creating a united front against any future threats. Humanity's adaptability and resilience became their defining traits. When a new alien race, the Thalaxians, emerged from the fringes of known space, bringing advanced technology in a mysterious agenda, it was humanity that led the diplomatic efforts. Their experience with the Zerg had taught them the value of cautious engagement and preparedness for the worst. As negotiations progressed, human diplomats, backed by the silent promise of military might, ensured that the Thalaxians understood the strength and unity of the Council. New threats were not limited to external forces. The psychological toll of the Zerg war left scars on many soldiers and civilians. Human psychologists and medical professionals worked tirelessly to develop treatments for the lingering trauma, sharing their findings with other Council species. Rehabilitation programs and support networks were established, ensuring that those who had faced the horrors of war received the care they needed. Human culture, too, spread across the stars. The arts, literature, and entertainment of Earth found new audiences on distant worlds. Movies depicting human resilience and bravery became popular among Jozer and Relsaka alike. Music and art from Earth inspired new forms of expression on alien planets. This cultural exchange enriched the lives of all species, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of humanity's unique perspective. As humanity's influence grew, so did their responsibilities. The Council established the Galactic Defense Initiative, a specialized task force composed of the best soldiers, scientists, and diplomats from all member species. Naturally, humans played a central role. Their expertise in dealing with existential threats and their unparalleled experience in combat and diplomacy made them indispensable leaders within the initiative. One of the initiative's first challenges was the resurgence of a Zerg splinter faction. Hidden away on a forgotten moon, this faction had managed to survive the initial purge and was now seeking to revive their fallen gods. The task of neutralizing this threat fell to a mixed-species team led by Captain Sarah Drayton of the Terran Union. Under her command, Jozer heavy troopers, Ligar scouts, and Relsaka engineers worked seamlessly together, reflecting the unity humanity had helped forge. Captain Drayton's team faced relentless attacks from the Zerg remnants. Despite the odds, they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that failure was not an option. Their mission culminated in a fierce battle within the Zerg's hidden stronghold. Amidst the chaos, human ingenuity and determination shone through. Using a combination of Relsaka technology and Ligar tracking skills, they pinpointed the location of the Zerg leaders and launched a decisive strike. The battle was brutal, but Captain Drayton's team emerged victorious. The Zerg stronghold was destroyed, and their plans for resurgence were thwarted. This victory, like so many before it, was a testament to humanity's ability to face and overcome the darkest of threats. In the aftermath, the Council honored Captain Drayton and her team with the Galactic Star of Valor, recognizing their bravery and the success of their mission. This event further solidified humanity's reputation as the galaxy's protectors, always ready to stand against the shadows that threaten peace. Humanity's place in the galaxy was no longer in question. They had proven themselves time and again, not just as warriors but as leaders, innovators, and allies. The future was uncertain, but with humanity standing at the forefront, the galaxy faced it with renewed hope and determination. As new challenges arose, humanity remained vigilant. Their experience with existential horror had taught them that there would always be new monsters, new threats lurking in the darkness. But it had also taught them that they could face these challenges and emerge victorious. The galaxy continued to evolve, with humanity playing a crucial role in shaping its destiny. Exploration missions ventured into uncharted territories, discovering new worlds and civilizations. Human explorers, alongside their Joser, Ligar, and Relsaka counterparts, forged new alliances and brought back knowledge that enriched the Council. In one such mission, the exploration vessel Horizon, captained by Joss McCallum, encountered the enigmatic Warshin, a race with advanced technology and a deep understanding of the cosmos. Initial contact was tense, but Captain McCallum's diplomatic skills and the support of her diverse crew helped bridge the gap. The Warshin, intrigued by humanity's resilience and the Council's unity, agreed to share their knowledge, opening up new possibilities for scientific advancement. Back on Earth and the other human colonies, life continued to flourish. The scars of the Zurg War remained, but so did the spirit of resilience and hope. Monuments were erected in honor of those who had sacrificed their lives, reminding future generations of the price of peace and the importance of vigilance. Humanity's role as the galaxy's monster hunters was not just about fighting external threats. It was also about ensuring that the values they held dear, courage, unity, and the pursuit of knowledge, were upheld. They became mentors and allies to younger, emerging species, guiding them as they took their first steps into the wider galaxy. One such species, the Dorlium, a reptilian race from the planet Zenter, had recently achieved FTL travel. Their initial encounters with the Council were cautious, but human ambassadors, with their history of humility and cooperation, quickly established a rapport. The Dorlium were welcomed into the Council, and human advisors played a key role in helping them integrate and contribute to the galactic community. The spirit of cooperation extended to technological advancements as well. Human scientists, working alongside their Relsaka and Warshin counterparts, developed new energy sources and medical technologies that improved the quality of life for all Council species. Joint research stations orbited key planets, becoming hubs of innovation and collaboration. Despite these advancements, humanity never forgot the lessons of the past. The Council maintained a robust defense network, with human-led training programs ensuring that all member species were prepared for any future threats. Simulations and war games were regularly conducted, keeping the skills of soldiers and strategists sharp. As the years passed, the story of humanity's rise from humble beginnings to galactic guardians became a source of inspiration. Their journey was chronicled in countless books, films, and educational programs, ensuring that future generations would remember the sacrifices made and the values upheld. In the vastness of space, where the unknown loomed large, humanity's legacy was clear. They had faced the darkest of nightmares and emerged not just as survivors, but as leaders. They had shown that true strength came not from physical prowess or advanced technology, but from the indomitable spirit and the willingness to stand together against any foe. And so, as new stars were charted and new worlds discovered, the call would always go out, not just to the strongest, the quickest, or the smartest, but to humanity, the indomitable, the fearless, the galaxy's steadfast monster hunters. The future was unwritten, but with humanity at the helm, it was a future filled with hope, unity, and endless possibilities.